respond to some of the questions? Teri Anderson, Economic Development Director for the city. Thank you, Steve, for pointing out that residential is allowed under the current zoning and would continue to be allowed under all of the proposed zones, under the proposed zoning as well. I wanted to make a point about, I've heard some concerns about the buffer zone not being sufficient, and the Chamber's proposal, as well as the proposal that the Planning Department has been considering. The depictions that you've seen on the screen tonight are not totally accurate because it just showed trees, skinny little trees, when actually I think what we talked about, and you didn't hear a lot of the details, is a very dense vegetative buffer that would hide the parking. So, and that will have to be specified in the details of the zoning once we get that far. But it has been very clear all along, the purpose of that buffer is to create a dense vegetative buffer between the parking area. And lastly, to respond to your question about the developers and the need for parking in front, we have heard that as a significant concern, and one of the reasons why you see mainly those two sites that remain undeveloped on King Street is because it is difficult for many retailers that are automobile-oriented retailers to build up to the street and not have parking in the front. Their customers demand parking in the front.
We're their customers.
Well, you may have a different opinion, but you're not the majority of their customers. So this is what we're trying to create the flexibility so that we get the streetscape, green space, and beautification that people are looking for, additional pedestrian benefits, additional bicycle benefits, but then also create the flexibility that allows for those sites to be developed. And as Suzanne was mentioning, to allow for what the market can bear now, but also create the flexibility that things can change over time and that developers can choose the setback that they need for their particular project that can be supported by the market. One other point about mixed-use commercial residential. We have asked every developer that's come forward on King Street, including the Honda site, which was a preferred development. It was approved by the planning board. Everybody raved about that development proposal that was approved. They looked into and analyzed whether or not it was possible to do first floor commercial and upper floor residential. And it just financially did not work because the depth of those lots is so narrow. You can't get enough residential units to make it work financially. The final point is that there are disincentives in our current zoning. I mean, everybody's talking about there are incentives to move the buildings to the front, incentives for 2 stories, but there are also significant disincentives in terms of the cost of trying to meet our current development, which has been a significant barrier to those lots being developed. And at the end of the day, there have been, as Bill mentioned, a number of reasons that contributed to those developments not happening and not going forward. But a piece of it, and a significant piece of it, is the cost, partly attributed to the development guidelines that are required under our current zoning. Increase the cost too much so that the developments can't go forward. They can't get tenants to pay the rents that they would need to charge in order to build the development according to our current standards.